All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Super here, and welcome back to another Mortal Kombat 1 video. And today we're going to be doing something for fun. I normally don't do any tier list type of video, but I wanted to do one because a lot of people kept asking who I thought was the best character, what do I think of this character, what do I think of this character. And even though we did a little retrospect or a little, pretty much talking about my opinions on each character during the stress test, or whatever they called it during the last beta. I'm just gonna say my opinion on characters definitely changed, especially one Princess Katana. My opinion of her was completely different compared to the stress test. So I'm here to do a little tier list. I'm gonna show you guys my tier list like right from the beginning, because I know some people are just going to want to see the tier list. It's fine. I would suggest that if you guys want my opinion on, what I think of the character and why I tiered them the way I did, make sure you keep watching. But if you just want to watch the tier list, do me a favor, leave a like on this video, and I'm going to show it to you guys right now. So I have videos just lined up for each specific character that I'm talking about, just so there could be some visuals. But here we go. This is the tier list. I'm sorry, the white screen and everything. This is my tier list for the Mortal Kombat 1 beta. I don't know how to zoom in. All right, I'm sorry. Hold on. I thought you could zoom in somewhere around here. Could I zoom in somewhere around here? I don't know how to. Oh wait. Oh, here we go. There you go. See, I'm not completely illiterate when it comes to computer stuff, right? So this is my tier list. Let's get rid of that poop sign right there. So I have Kenshi as the best character in the beta, but it's only if you understand the character and you know how to play with the character, not to its fullest potential, because you could only get so much done within 4 days or 8 days in total if you play the stress test. But Kenshi has everything you want in a character. He has the 2 stances, which gives him access to 2 characters at once that give you insane combo potential and damage. And then he has his normal stance that gives him great spacing still and good zoning. He has a really good stand 1. He has good meterless damage. His sword gives him really good range. His pokes are alright. They're alright. But with Frosty, with Kano, you could call in Sento very easily. You could go into what you want to do with him. He has a quote-unquote block infinite, which is not really a block infinite if you time your meter burn attack properly. But at the same time, Kenshi could bait it out, and your armor is gonna get blown up and you're gonna get full combo punish. But there is a little mind game right there between, is the Kenshi player gonna block or is he gonna continue the attack? That leaves a little gap for you to do an armor reversal. But overall, I think Kenshi has everything you want in a character, and it makes him even better when you pair him up with someone like Kano or someone like Frosty, where you could call in Sento and do your thing. So that's just my opinion. I think Kenshi overall is the best character still in the beta. Ironically, I didn't get gameplay for Kenshi because I only had a limited amount of time to record on the Monday because my power went out pretty much Sunday night to Monday morning. So I decided to spend that like 2-3 hours doing Liu Kang and Sub-Zero. That sounds all types of wrong, but I decided to play with them instead of Kenshi. So no Kenshi footage, but now let's talk about my other S tier character, which let's bring up this. Let's play some Sub-Zero here in the background. I think Sub-Zero is insanely good in MK1. He has a full screen slide that could punish a lot of things, could go under projectiles, obviously. I even saw somebody who was, I think, fighting Sonic Fox, and they were up blocking Kenshi's overhead projectile or overhead ghost, and doing an up block and then recovering in time to do like a full screen punish with the slide. That is some like already next level type of shit that Sub-Zero is going to be able to do. You could play very offensive with Sub-Zero, go for his 50-50s. They could be unsafe, but you could risk it all the same way that you can in Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat X. And you could also play him incredibly defensive, where it's so frustrating to play versus this character sometimes that it drives you insane. He has the ability to cancel into Ice Clone from any attacks. And yes, you could reversal it, or you could counter it by doing a meter burn reversal. You know, for example, Johnny Cage's Shadow Kick or Sub-Zero Slide. And that will punish the Sub-Zero player for doing that all day, but you have to spend a bar of meter to do it. I saw Sonic Fox punishing, you know, forward 1-2 into Ice Clone with the Rising Karma, which was a true punish. That's a great punish, and I'm sure there's going to be characters that have other special moves that aren't like physical attacks that will freeze you, that will allow you to punish Sub-Zero for doing that. But overall, every character could do something about it. They just need to spend the bar of meter. He does insane damage pretty much by himself, and it's just amplified even more with Frosty or with Sonya. You could keep him really safe and still do a ton of damage with any cameo. Jax, you could do you could use the Kano cameo. You could use any cameo, and Sub-Zero is only going to get better and only going to do more damage, have safer mix-ups, have better setups, be lamer on the keep away. The cameos are just going to enhance Sub-Zero a lot more, but I think Sub-Zero is definitely an S tier character in this beta build. That's just my opinion. He's probably one of the easiest, if not the easiest character to pick up. He does so much damage. His combos are really, really simple to do. And yeah, he could play Mortal Kombat 1 in any way that he wants. He could play offensive, he could play lame, but the good ones are going to be doing both. You're going to be mixing up your lame play with your aggressive play. So I think Sub-Zero and Kenshi are the only two S tier characters in the beta. All right, moving on here. Let's go back to the tier list. Who do we have next? This character, at the beginning, I really thought that he was going to be S tier, but as time went on, the thing that makes him S tier is his hype mode, but to actually activate it more than like once per game, you have to sacrifice punishes. Shadow Kick into the taunt, anything in the taunt. The only one that is pretty easy to do is the fake nut punch, like the taunt nut punch. That one's pretty easy to do because you're avoiding projectiles anyways. But if you mistime it, obviously you won't build up your hype meter and you're going to get hit. But Johnny Cage, the only reason he's not S tier is because his hype mode takes just so long to get if you're not actively like fishing out for it. I was getting it multiple times a game because I didn't really care if I got punished. But if you're not trying to get hit, it's going to take some time to actually activate it unless you sacrifice your own damage or your own life. If it was easier for him to get it, obviously he would be S tier. His movement is really good. Even though he has no projectiles, that's where the cameos come in handy. And to be honest, he doesn't even need it because he has really good walk speed, dash speed, makes his movement easy to do. He has forward advancing strings. He has safe like overhead strings. He has like so many pop-ups, so many meterless pop-ups. He does insane damage. So in my opinion, if his hype meter wasn't so hard to get, where you're guaranteed to take damage if you actively go for Shadow Kick taunt or any other way to get a hype meter except for the fake out nut punch, you're going to. Oh, actually, I should be playing the Johnny Cage footage, right? While I'm talking about him. But you're gonna get punished. But if it wasn't for the fact that you have to do that and sacrifice some damage to build up the hype meter, if you want to get it multiple times a game, it downgrades him to like A+. I will probably put him at A+. There's only A in that tier list, but I will put him at A+. He's like right there to get that S tier. But in my opinion, because of the reason that I mentioned, if it was, you have to sacrifice something for Johnny Cage to be able to build up your hype meter as soon as you can. But I mean, once you get your hype meter, he's going to get meterless. What is it? 50% combos, right? Meterless 50% combos if you have the execution for them. You're going to get nut punches, you know, sort of like mix-ups while your opponent is blocking. You know, is it going to be one nut punch and you're not going to do it anymore? You could call on your assist to keep yourself even more safe, or your pressure even more oppressive. At any point, you could do a third nut punch. You could do nut punch, nut punch, nut punch, nut punch dash. I'm talking about him being in hype mode on block. Like, sometimes your opponent is just going to be trying to mash buttons and you're going to catch them. I caught a lot of people trying to mash when I had my hype meter, or when I had my hype mode on, trying to mash after like one of my nut punches. I'm like, hell no, you can't mash out of this. Here's another nut punch for you. And I go into a dash, full combo punish for them trying to mash. So Johnny Cage is crazy good. So I think he's like A+, but I wouldn't put him at that S tier category because you have to sacrifice something to get your hype mode. But once you have your hype mode, he is S tier for sure. All right, let's move on here. Who do we have next? It's funny. Some people are going to think that Katana, because I have her at the end of like the A tier list, some people have Katana as a bad character. I disagree, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Katana's a really good character. All right, now next up here is Li Mei. Hold on. I actually want to highlight this for now, because I feel like Li Mei with the Jax assist amplified her gameplay a lot more than the Frost assist. The reason I say that is because Jax gives her the options. Oh wait, this is Katana. Okay, my bad. I just want to talk about Katana. Maybe this entire time I made this just so I could talk about Katana and how good I think she is. But here we go. This is when I moved over from PlayStation to Xbox, and it was just so much easier to do combos. It's crazy. But Li Mei does pretty much everything that you could do with Liu Kang. It's just amplified even more, because she does really, really good damage. Liu Kang does really good damage as well. But I think Li Mei is easier to pick up. She has different ways to keep you out. She has some setups with her lantern. Like I said, with the Jax cameo, I think it amplifies her strengths a lot more. She could also use a Frost assist. We've all seen, we've all done the lantern combos that are a lot of fun to do. But I think Jax opens up her gameplay a lot more. Things like that. You could throw out the lantern, call in Jax, shoot your projectile, blow up the lantern, do some extra damage. In the corner, she does the same exact setups that Liu Kang does. Just that, you know, she will be able to get the same amount of damage off like the unblockable setups, but with easier combos, in my opinion. And yeah, look at this combo right here. 45% combo. I think it was 2 bars, but it's so satisfying to hit. The only problem that I have with Li Mei is that she doesn't have the best range. She also doesn't have that good of a mid. But I think overall, Li Mei is slightly better than Liu Kang. To be honest, I think that Kenshi, Sub-Zero, and Johnny Cage are so much better than the other 3. So the gap between Sub-Zero at the S tier compared to Johnny Cage in like A+ tier, to me is like a tiny bit, right? The difference is tiny, in my opinion. It's just one problem with Johnny Cage that prevents him, in my opinion, from being S tier. But the gap between Johnny Cage and Li Mei, who is my 4th character, it's pretty big. I definitely think that Johnny Cage is just like a way better character than Li Mei overall. I had a hard time fighting versus Johnny Cages with Lee May. I had a hard time fighting versus Sub-Zeros was probably the worst one for me whenever I played Lee May. So I definitely think that the top 3 characters, Johnny, Sub, and Kenshi, are far better than Lee May, Liu Kang, and then Katana. But I definitely think that Lee May is up next after Johnny Cage. I think she's slightly better than Liu Kang, in my opinion. All right, moving on here. We have Liu Kang, right? All right, we don't need this anymore. We got some Liu Kang action. So Liu Kang wasn't changed too much from the stress test. The only thing is that Johnny Cage and Lee May came in, and I think that it amplified a little bit more of his weaknesses. Yeah, he has great zoning, he has great damage, but at the same time, he has some gaps in his crucial strings. And I know Lee May has the exact same thing, but the fact that you could duck after what is it, back 2-4, back 2-3, something like that, hurts him a lot. You could armor through it. You could duck after it. He really has no mix-ups. At least Lee May has a low starter. Has the instant air bicycle kick or flip kick that gives you at least a little bit of a mix-up. Liu Kang has none of that. He is pretty straightforward as a character. You're going to do your staggers. That's where you're going to get your whiff punishes, your damage. There's a lot of baiting going on. Liu Kang has T-Rex arms. I think Liu Kang has some of the worst range when it comes to poking in the entire game so far. His T-Rex arms are crazy, man. I got clipped so many times trying to counter down one because he has no range, especially compared to someone like Sub-Zero that gets extended range because of his icicles in his hand. Liu Kang's range is pretty bad. Forward 4 is still really good. I'm pretty sure it's a low starter, but he has nothing to scare the opponent with. Yeah, you could throw in your grabs here and there, but with a lot of people playing MK11 and doing micro ducks, which is when you just duck for a little bit without blocking and punish your opponent for trying to go for grabs, a lot of people have that still, that I guess it is a skill or like a risk factor. Yeah, I'll just call it a skill. They have that skill from Mortal Kombat 11 that carries over to this game. So when you're playing with Liu Kang and you have no mix-ups, your whole gameplay is keep your opponent away with, he probably still has the best zoning in Mortal Kombat 1. Kenshi has really good zoning. The 5 air fireballs are really good for Liu Kang, especially in combination with Jax. That was my favorite combination overall. Sonya, you could get some crazy combos. With Jax, you could get some crazy combos too with Liu Kang. But I think the neutral control helps him out even more because, with your zoning, with your back 2 punish, trying to catch your opponents, starting their offense, counter poking. That's where Liu Kang is going to shine. But the fact that, he doesn't really have anything that's too special. He's like Ryu from Street Fighter. He has really good fundamentals and a really good base tool set as a character, but he doesn't really excel in something to make him too good. He's solid though. I mean, he's still in my A tier category. Because I don't think there's a bad character in this game so far. I really don't. I have 4 characters in A tier because I truly believe that all 4 characters in that tier deserve to be in that tier. It's just Johnny Cage is super close to S tier, but not quite there. But I do think that every single character in this game is really good. Really good. It's just some characters have better tools than others. And Liu Kang is more of a basic character where you could definitely do some work. You could do some combos. You could do some damage. But you're definitely going to have a harder time getting there the easy way. You're going to have to be more patient and wait for your opponents to make mistakes as opposed to having someone like Kenshi who's going to be very oppressive with Sento, or have Sub-Zero mix you up or have Johnny Cage just pressure the hell out of you. You're going to be more honest with a character like Liu Kang. And now moving on to the princess. Speaking of being patient, and speaking of having no mix-ups, and speaking of playing more so to wait for your opponent to make mistakes, Kitana is almost the exact same, but with less tools than Liu Kang. That's why I have Kitana as the quote-unquote worst character in the beta, but she is so much better than I thought. At first, during the stress test, our first time playing this game extensively, didn't really feel too good about Kitana as far as how fun she was, but the more I got to playing, the more I learned about some of her combo potential, especially with characters like Frosty, where you could set the bomb on the ground, you could follow up that bomb, you could use the Frost Assist to help you zone the opponent a little bit more, you could put your bomb out and call in the Frost Orb and have two sort of traps on screen while you're zoning or when you want to come in. Kitana was so much more fun than I remembered from the stress test. I was like, man, this feels like a completely different character, because Kitana, I didn't really put as much time as I did for the other characters during the stress test, because I didn't find her to be too fun. But once I paired her up with Frosty, and especially with Sonya, man, she was doing 45% combos in the corner. Meterless combos, guys. It was crazy. I was like, whoa, she could actually get 45% meterless combos in the corner. You could probably get more, but, you know, we only had so much time to experiment, right? 0.10 life I had right there. That was crazy. But yeah, I definitely think that Liu Kang is a way better zoner than Kitana. Liu Kang has more damage output, even in the corner. Liu Kang, you're going to have to do a little bit, or you're not, well, can you? Yeah, you could probably get 45% meterless combos with Liu Kang in the corner with Sonya for sure. So if you want to get into the 50s, then that's where you're going to have to use your bar of meter. But like I said, I think Liu Kang does anything that that Kitana could do, just better. But that doesn't mean that Kitana sucks. I think Kitana is a really good character. I think that her potential has just begun. Like, once more cameos are introduced, we're going to see even more of her potential. But I definitely noticed that her game plan is a lot of what Liu Kang's game plan is. Waiting for your opponent to make a mistake. Baiting your opponent into trying to press it down one, counter you, or trying to start their offense and you counter it back with her back 2-1, I think it was, or back 2-4. That's her game plan, because she has no mix-ups. She has one low combo starter that is unsafe, which leads to the booty. I think it's like back 3-4. It's like a low into the booty. I'm pretty sure that's her only low combo string. She doesn't really have any mix-ups in between any sort of strings. She is a worse version of Liu Kang. But like I said, that doesn't mean that she's not fun. She is. Some of her combos feel so satisfying to hit, especially like I mentioned with Frosty and with Sonya. Some of the corner combos are really sick. You guys will see that like later on when I start uploading my Kitana combos, what I'm talking about. But yeah, Kitana is, let me see, do I get anything here? Probably not, right? Nah, the round ended right there. But the more I got to playing, the more I fell in love with Kitana, because I started to understand a little bit more how you're supposed to play her, which is more with punishing, baiting your opponent out to do something. Right there, you have to do the uppercut. Oh, here we go. I think I do like an uppercut combo here. Let me see. Yeah, right here. Boom, 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 fan. Another Sonya. Boom, boom. What is that? 43% damage, meterless in the corner with Kitana. I don't know a bad character that does 43% meterless combos in Mortal Kombat 1, because there are none. I truly believe that Kitana is really good. She's just not as fun as she was in MKX. She's way more fun than she was in MK11. Oh my god. In MK11 she was a snooze fest pretty much. Excluding maybe the booty, like her throwing out the booty, finishing it off with a brutality, something like that. She was fun in some matchups, but you know, she was relatively boring compared to MKX. And even though this katana is nowhere near MKX katana, just some of the combos that you could do with cameos, and we only have, what was it, 4 cameos to choose from. I was playing with her and Jax last time, and that combination was like okay, but it doesn't compare to Katana and Frost, where you could have multiple traps out on the screen. She could get easy combos, you know, easy combo extension with the Frost freeze. She gets a little bit extra zoning from full screen that could convert into a full combo. And then Sonya, she's just a combo extending machine. So I feel like the Sonya and Katana combination was probably the best combination for Katana, because you could get crazy meterless damage from anywhere on the screen. Well, you could get like good meterless damage from anywhere on the screen, and you could get crazy meterless damage from the corner. So, damn, I got whiff punished like a motherfucker right there. That was really good by that guy. But yeah, I think overall, my opinion of Katana was by far the biggest change out of any of these characters. I would say Liu Kang is another one of those characters where my opinion changed a lot, going from thinking that Liu Kang might be the best character in the stress test to having him be at the second of the bottom of the list, right? Only behind or only in front of Katana. But like I said, I have 2 characters in S tier and 4 characters in A tier, because I do believe that every character is good in this game. Like, I felt, even though I struggled in some matchups, like Li Mei versus Sub-Zero, I didn't feel that the matchup was, like, horrible. You know, it was just, all right, let me make a couple extra better reads than my opponent, and I could win this. So I felt comfortable playing with any character versus any other character. And that's a good sign of a nice balanced game. Pretty much every character is crazy in this game. Every, like, 4 out of the 6 are in A tier. That's really good, because then, like, no one wants a character down there in the D tier list, right? We all want, like, the best. We all want balance, but fun balance, meaning every character has cheap stuff. Katana has some cheap stuff, man. The trap, that shit is cheap. If it's able to be activated, it doesn't lose activation. Even if Katana, I'm pretty sure if she gets hit, it doesn't lose the activation once it's active. Also on block, same thing. There was a Katana moment that I had where I put the trap out, and I think it was, I got hit by a Sub-Zero slide, but the trap activated right as I got hit. So then Sub-Zero got caught in it. I got up, continued my combo, and won the round with a fatal blow. That shit was sick. So Katana has some cheap stuff, man. So I'm just happy that my opinion changed of her. Had way more fun playing with her in the beta than I did in the stress test. Missed a combo right there because my execution wasn't the best in these early matches. Another one! No! End the video now! Alright, so let's go back to the tier list real quick, just so you guys could get another look at it, just in case you forgot. So I have Kenshi as the #1 character in the beta, followed by Sub-Zero. Then it's Johnny Cage starting the A tier. Johnny is like A+, I would say. I wish there was another category that said A+, but I didn't want to come up with my own tier list. I just used somebody made this tier list. Then we got Li Mei, Liu Kang, and then Katana. That's my tier list, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. This was done for fun because normally I don't do any tier lists because, I don't know, I'm not a competitive player. I'm just a casual player. But this was just for fun because a lot of people have been asking me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.